This podcast is sponsored by BuyBiz.io. Discover premium AI-driven online businesses for sale, perfect for standalone growth or seamless integration. Explore now at BuyBiz.io to kickstart your digital success.
Understanding public versus private business. Purchasing what you need to know. Discover the key differences between public and private business purchasing and what it means for buyers and sellers in today's market. Understanding public versus private business purchasing. Hey, have you ever thought about how different it is when a public company buys something compared to a private company? I was chatting with a friend the other day about this, and it's actually pretty fascinating once you start peeling back the layers. Now let me break it down for you in simple terms. First off, public companies are those whose shares are traded openly on the stock market. Think big names you've probably heard of like Apple or Ford. In contrast, private companies are usually owned by a smaller group of people and don't trade their shares on public exchanges. These could be family businesses, startups, or smaller firms that prefer to keep things under wraps. How does purchasing differ? When it comes to making big purchases, like buying equipment, a new software system, or even acquiring another company, the process for public and private businesses can be worlds apart. Transparency and regulation. Public companies face way more scrutiny. They have to follow strict regulations from organizations like the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, in the U.S. This means every major purchase, especially acquisitions, has to be well documented and often disclosed to their shareholders and the public. Because of this, their purchasing process tends to be slower, very formal, and involves multiple layers of approval. Decision-making speed. Private companies typically have fewer hoops to jump through since they aren't obligated to meet public reporting standards. The owners, or a small group of executives, can often make purchasing decisions much faster, which can be a huge advantage in competitive markets. Negotiations and confidentiality. Private companies usually operate under more secrecy. Their deals are often confidential, something investors or the public won't immediately know about. Public companies, on the other hand, have to be more transparent, which sometimes means less flexibility in negotiating terms, as everything could end up in a public filing. Financial disclosure. Public businesses have to disclose detailed financial information regularly. This means their buying decisions are often heavily influenced by shareholder value and market perception. Private companies, not being under the same pressure, might prioritize other factors like long-term strategy without worrying too much about quarterly reports. Why does this matter? If you're someone interested in buying a business or selling one, understanding these differences is crucial. For example, if you're looking at purchasing a company, knowing whether it's private or public can help you understand what kind of process and timelines you're dealing with. For instance, public companies usually look for strategic acquisitions that can please their shareholders and boost market value. They might be targeting businesses that add something specific to their portfolio or fill a gap in their market. Private companies might be more flexible. They could be more interested in companies that align with their long-term goals, even if it doesn't result in immediate financial payoff. Connecting this to real opportunities. Speaking of buying businesses, if you're curious about business acquisitions or just want to explore the market, Archieboy Holdings' AI-based businesses for sale has some fascinating options listed online. These are AI-driven businesses that tap into the booming tech sector, perfect if you want a peek at modern, innovative business opportunities that span both public and private markets. Explore our listings today. Whether you're an entrepreneur wanting to expand or just someone interested in what's out there, check out the full list of AI-based businesses for sale here. It's a great way to get a feel for the landscape and maybe find that next exciting opportunity. The bottom line. Public versus private business. Purchasing isn't just a dull corporate concept. It's part of what shapes how businesses grow, adapt, and compete. Public companies operate transparently and follow strict rules, which can slow things down but adds accountability. Private companies can be nimble and discreet, but with less public oversight. For anyone thinking about business deals, acquisitions, or simply wanting to know how the business world ticks, keeping these differences in mind will save you headaches and help spot new opportunities. All right, next time you hear someone talk about a big corporate purchase, you'll know exactly what's behind the scenes. Thanks for hanging out and chatting through this with me.